Marc Kidou Ouattara, another Judas on his way to join the Rhdp. Marc Kidou Ouattara, president of the Union of Soroists, UDS, a movement initially created in support of Guillaume Soro, is preparing to officially join the Rally of OFFICIELLE for Democracy and Peace, Rhdp, in the coming days. According to sources close to him, this decision was made in complete secrecy. None of the founding members of the UDS were consulted, and no General Assembly was convened. Unilaterally, Marc Ouattara amended the party's statutes, internal regulations, and even changed its name. The party has now been rebranded as the Union of Socialist Democrats, or a name closely resembling it. Through this maneuver, he is signaling a definitive break from the movement's original orientation. About a week ago, Marc Ouattara was received by Cissé Ibrahim Bakongo, Executive Secretary of the Rhdp, to whom he expressed his desire to collaborate with the ruling party. He claimed to have changed his party's name and expressed a wish to forge an alliance with the Rhdp. What nerve! However, according to Yapi's sources, Bakongo made it clear that such a partnership would only be considered under one condition. The party must be dissolved. No collaboration, no alliance, just unconditional submission. Marc Ouattara agreed to this demand without hesitation. He is now awaiting the return of Kandia Kamara, his new mentor, for a final meeting before publicly announcing his defection to the Rhdp next week. It appears that his friend Taifour Koni is the one encouraging him and is expected to secure the meeting. According to some sources, he has also persuaded a few close associates to follow him in this new political adventure. He reportedly told them that a 500 million CFA franc envelope had been promised to him to organize a tour to rally his grassroots supporters and facilitate their alignment with the Rhdp immediately after he joins the ruling party. Enough to make some mouths water. Only fools like him could believe such a lie. Or perhaps he himself is lying to his last circle of loyalists, who remain hesitant to follow him, in order to convince them that the new camp is more lucrative. Since his release from prison, Marc Ouattara had distanced himself from the leadership of GPS, while discreetly maneuvering to position himself as an alternative to Guillaume Soro. On multiple occasions, he confided to members of his movement that if Guillaume Soro were unable to run in the presidential election, he would gladly step in as GPS's natural candidate. Now that such a scenario is off the table, Marc Ouattara has decided to turn the page and join the ranks of the political adversary. His decision is expected to be made official in the coming days. Why did you create the Union of Soroists, UDS? Isn't that the cult of personality?
I don't think so. In life, there are three types of people. Those who live the present in the past, those who live the present in the present, and those who live the future in the present by anticipation. We wanted to live the future in the present, and that is why the Union of Soroists was created, rooted in the people, to write the story of a man, that of His Excellency Guillaume Soro.
Do you know Guillaume Soro? Who is he to you? What does he represent to make a political movement worthwhile?
Toute la Côte d'Ivoire connaît le président Guillaume Soro. Pour moi, le président Guillaume Soro est l'un des rares Ivoiriens.
The entire Côte d'Ivoire knows President Guillaume Soro. For me, President Guillaume Soro is one of the few Ivorians to have a deep awareness of his identity. Within him, two identities are combined. The first is Guillaume Soro, black, Ivorian, from a modest family, who quickly became aware of his virtues: justice, friendship, fraternity, sharing with others. The second identity is Guillaume Soro facing this space, this country we call Côte d'Ivoire. He is one of the rare exceptional beings who have the audacity and courage to live their ideals, and who have the gift of making their dreams blossom in the hearts of their fellow citizens. He is a symbol of struggle. Soroism is putting oneself at the service of others. Throughout his life, this man put himself at the service of others. Secretary General of OFFICIELLE, he dedicated himself to the service of the students of Côte d'Ivoire. Secretary General of the New Forces, he dedicated himself to human rights. Prime Minister of His Excellency Lord Gbagbo, he dedicated himself here to the service of peace. Prime Minister and Minister of Defense of His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, he dedicated himself here to the service of democratic and republican power. President of the National Assembly, he dedicated himself to the service of the legislative power and, better still, to the service of national reconciliation.
Several prominent figures have lost their jobs because of your movement. Isn't that a waste? Do you have any regrets?
C'est un gâchis pour nous, et nous avons mal. Cela dépend du point de vue dans lequel l'on se place.
It's a waste for us, and we're hurting. It depends on your point of view. So we think that people's authentic expression was a plea. You see, it was a cry from the heart. President Mitterrand announced in 1982 at the PPA-CI that there are circumstances where a president of the republic must know how to give honor, the heart, precedence over reasons of state. Certainly, there was reason of state, but honor and the heart were friends. And the friendships here were with President Guillaume Soro. I have regrets, deep regrets. That's why the Union of Soroists in the coming days will be able to give them a sum of approximately 5 million CFA francs, so that they can send their children to school and meet certain needs. It's not as easy as that. Soroism is a whole. It is a convergence at the level of ideas, at the level of material.
C'est pas aussi facile que ça. Le soroisme, c'est un ensemble. C'est une convergence au niveau donc ici des idées, au niveau donc ici du matériel.
Are you afraid of being fired too?
Je ne crains pas.
I'm not afraid. You know, everyone who gets involved with His Excellency Guillaume Soro expects anything. I expect anything, but to be able to find accommodation, you have to have committed a very serious misconduct in the civil service. And, as a civil servant, I'm not afraid.
Chris Yapi does not lie. Find Chris Yapi on his 2 YouTube channels, his Rumble channel, his TikTok, X, Instagram, VK and Threads accounts.